everybody, it is Leslie here again. I haven't made a video in a few months, so I thought it was about time to make another one. I wanted to do a video of what sold, so I'm gonna go over my sales for the past week, and I know I like to see other people on YouTube making haul videos of what they buy, but even more than that, I really like to see videos of what actually sells for people, because I think that's even more helpful to see, all right, what is actually selling, how much are you selling it for, because that's really what's important. I mean, it's fun to see what people buy, but I think the more helpful information might be what is actually selling, what are you actually making money on, and how much money are you making, and all of that. So that's what I'm gonna be doing for you today. Hopefully I'm able to figure out how to put in screenshots of the items themselves so you can actually see them. So I think they'll probably be over here somewhere as I talk, so here we go. I'm gonna go through what I sold just in this past week. So from today's Sunday morning, I'm gonna go through last Saturday through this Saturday. And I sold a couple of things this morning, so I might actually throw those in there as well. But again, this is a week, and at the end, I'll go through my numbers for the week as far as how many items sold and how much money I made. So bear with me, this is my first time doing this, so it might be a little wonky. We'll see how it goes. All right. So I sell on 3 platforms. I sell on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. But by far my main one is eBay, followed by Poshmark, followed by Mercari. So I will start with eBay, then Poshmark, then Mercari. So this week on eBay, I sold a St. James striped top, and I sold it for $40. I had paid $1.50 at Salvation Army, and it sold within 2 weeks. So pretty good sale for me there. Next up is a good American pair of black jeans with lace-up detailing on the side. These actually sold in less than a day, so that's really awesome. I paid $9 for them, and I sold them for $74. Next up, we have a pair of 9 West boots. Now, 9 West is not normally a brand I'd pick up, but I got these on clearance. They're new in the box, and they were worth over $200 new. So I think I paid about $10 for them, and I sold them for $65, so that's a pretty good turnaround. These I'd actually had though for about 6 months. So sometimes with boots and like things like that are pretty seasonal, it does take them a little longer to sell, because you know, if I list them in spring, it might take until the fall to start selling. Next up, I have a Parker blue lace off the shoulder blouse. This I had for a while. I had for about 8 months. But I sold it for $58, and I had paid $4. So that's really awesome. Next up is an Eileen Fisher silk jacket that I sold for $45. It took about 6 months to sell, and I paid $8 for it. I actually sold 2 pairs of the exact same Dansko boots this week. One of them sold for full price, which was $102, and then the other one, I actually accepted an offer just because I wanted to kind of get rid of them. I accepted an offer of $78 for the other pair. So again, 2 pairs of these Dansko boots. I actually had bought 3 of them and sold the third one maybe about 2 weeks ago. So I've sold all of them at this point. I picked them all up for $16 at a Nordstrom Rack boot sale that they had about, I don't know, 8 months ago. So these took a few months to sell again because they're boots, but really good profit from $16 to $80 and $100. Next up is a Banana Republic tank top. And I don't normally pick up Banana Republic unless it's really cute, which this was, and really cheap. So I got this tank top for $1 and sold it for $25. So for me, that's, even though I don't normally pick up Banana Republic, if it's $1 and it's cute, I'll grab it. All right, next we have a Joie, Joie. I never know how to pronounce that brand, but I sell it a lot. So a Joie dress. This one took about a week to sell. I sold it for $66 and I picked it up for $11. All right, next up is a Tula Rosa embroidered dress. And this dress was really cute. It sold within maybe 2 days. I paid $7 and it sold for $50. And next we have a Bowden silk tunic. This was actually one of my worst sales of the week. It sold for $32, but I had it for about a year, so I took a pretty low offer on it. And I paid, I think, $8 for it, so not a super great profit margin. So I wouldn't have grabbed this again, but Bowden usually does pretty well for me. Next we have a Roberta Roller Rabbit dress that I paid $6 for and sold for $50. It sold in about 2 or 3 days. Next we have an Equipment butterfly silk blouse. This blouse was really, really cute. I paid $11 for it and sold it for $54. Next up, this was actually a very good purchase and sale. It sold within a day and a half. It's a Tucker silk dress. It was new with the tags on it. I paid $17 for it and it sold for $118. So that's a really, really good profit for me of $100 profit before, the eBay fees. All right. Oh, this was also a very good one. The next up is a Salvage dress. Salvage makes a lot of kind of like punk, gothic kind of stuff. I almost actually didn't grab this because I wasn't really sure. I hadn't sold this brand in a while, but I'm very glad I did. I paid 99 cents for this little dress, and it sold, I think, faster than anything I've ever listed in my 10 years of doing this. It sold within seconds of me listing it. It was insane. So I paid 99 cents and it sold for $39, again, within it was probably 2 seconds of listing it. It was really crazy. And the buyer actually reached out to me and said, if you ever see any other Salvage stuff, let me know. So that's definitely a brand to look out for, Salvage. Next up, I have a Vince Camuto dress. And Vince Camuto is another brand I don't normally buy. I think this is the first and only time I've ever bought Vince Camuto. But it was part of this really great Nordstrom Rack sale that they did last year. So I paid $4.47 for this dress. It took a while to sell, about 8 months, but it sold for about $42, so pretty good profit margin there. That's a brand I might pick up again if it were, new with tags or super cheap or something. Next up, we have a Panic at the Disco crop top. The only reason I got this is because it was 50 cents, and I know a lot of young people are big fans of Panic at the Disco, so I figured it would be a quick sale, and it was. It sold within a few days, and it sold for $18. So from 50 cents to $18, I'll definitely take. All right, we've only got 2 more things that I sold on eBay. The next one is a Helmut Lang silk tank top, and I sold this for $40. I'd had it for a while. It was another item I got at this big Nordstrom Rack sale that I paid $4.47 for. So good profit margin, but it did take a while to sell. And last thing I sold on eBay this week was another Joie item, Joie. It's a silk tank top. This one I've had for a while. I've had it for about a year, and it was not a great sale. This was another one of my worst sales of the week. I paid $10 for it and I sold it for 28. So not awful, but not what I look for generally as far as profit margins. I took a low offer just because I've had it for a long time. All right, so next I'm gonna go through the Poshmark sales. eBay is my biggest platform, so I have most of my sales on there, but on Poshmark I sold about, I think 11 items this week, so I'll go through those 11 items now. So first up is a Gunex. I don't know how to say that. Gunex. It's some kind of European designer. It's actually a pretty high-end designer, but it doesn't sell super well for me. So this is a Gunex skirt that I sold. I took a pretty low offer of $32 for this skirt, but I picked it up for about $4, and I'd had it for a long time, about a year. So I just took a lower offer, and I'm glad to get it out. Next up is an Anthropologie sweater. This was a very low sale. I sold it for $15, but I'd only paid $1 for it, and I didn't notice until I got home, but it had a big stain on, or not a big stain, but a relatively big stain on it. And so the fact that I'm able to get rid of it for $15 is actually really good. I try to be very, very careful about looking for flaws in my items when I'm at the thrift shops. But every once in a while, or actually more than every once in a while, I get home and I notice, a little hole or mark or something. And then I still sell things with flaws all the time. I just put it in the listing and be very clear about it, and things will still sell. Sometimes still for a lot, but this sold for $15, and that is more than okay. Next up is an American Eagle pair of jeans, which this is really out of the ordinary for me. I don't think in the 10 years I've been selling, I've ever sold anything from American Eagle, but I got these on clearance at Marshall's a couple weeks ago, and I paid $4 for them, and I bought them because they're very on trend. They had these two-tone like detailing and raw hem and high-waisted. So I got these really because they're very trendy. And I thought, because they're so trendy, they'll sell. And that was absolutely right. They sold in less than a day. So I paid $4 for them, and I sold them for $37, which is awesome for American Eagle. So next up on Poshmark, I sold a Madewell silk midi dress that is kind of a plaid print. I thought this was really cute. It sold in 2 days for $65, and I paid about $13 for it. Next up is a J. Crew jacket. I sold for $63, and I paid about $14 for it, and it took about 6 months to sell, so a little bit longer on this jacket. Again, I think that was probably due to seasons. It's a thicker, like a wool, I think it might be wool jacket, so it's not really gonna, if I listed it in the spring, it makes sense that it didn't really sell until it's starting to get colder out. All right, next up, we have a pair of Mother jeans. Mother is probably my favorite jean brand to sell because it sells very quickly. Like these sold within, I think, 2 hours of me listing them. I paid $9 for them, and they sold for $70, so that's a great profit. Next we have a Tolani chevron silk blouse. I actually really like selling Tolani. They make a lot of colorful silk blouses and dresses. Sometimes they're sold at Anthropologie. And so this top I sold for $35. Took about 2 weeks to sell, and I paid $4 for it. All right, next up is a pair of Kate Spade velvet sneakers. I bought 3 pairs of these at TJ Maxx, and I paid $20 for each pair. And probably wasn't a great buy because I still have 2 of the pairs, and they've been listed for about 6 months now. So I've only sold 1 pair. These sold for $64. And again, I paid $20 for them, but I've had them for a while, and they don't get a lot of interest. So maybe not the best buy, but still decent profit on those. Next up is a Style Stalker tie-dye little mini dress that had a flaw on it, so I would have listed it probably for a little bit higher, but I sold it for $30 within 2 days of listing, and I paid $2 for it. So $2 to $30 is pretty good. Next up is a Brandy Melville oversized sweater top. This sold for $35 in less than a day of listing, so that's awesome. And I only paid $1 for it. Last thing I sold on Poshmark this week is a Rebecca Taylor like purple cutout dress. This dress is really cute, but it did have a flaw on it. It had a stain on the back that I didn't see when I bought it. So I would have sold it for more, but it sold within a day for $36, and I only paid $2 for it. So that was still a good sale, even though, again, it had a flaw on it that I hadn't noticed. All right, so we only have 3 more things, and these 3 things I sold on Mercari, which is another app. I don't sell a ton on it, but I do find that it's worthwhile to cross-post things on there, because each week I sell anywhere from $100 to $200 worth on this app. And so for me, with the amount of time I put into it, which, it only takes an extra, I don't know, a minute and a half to put something on there, to me, it seems worth it. So I sold 3 things this week on Mercari. The first was a pair of 7 For All Mankind jeans that I sold for $55. I paid $6 for these jeans, and they sold within a day and a half. Next up is a pair of Madewell jeans that I sold for $27. This was not a great purchase. I paid $8 for them, and I sold them for $27. They sat for about 4 months, I think. And I think the reason they didn't sell for as much is because they are an older style. And so that was a kind of a good lesson, and maybe don't pay quite as much for older style Madewell jeans. But, not a bad profit, all things considered. And lastly, I sold a Poshmark, which is an Anthropologie brand, top with, it was very, very cute. It has foxes all over it. And actually Taylor Swift has worn this top. So I sold this top for $27. I paid $1 for it, and it sold very quickly in a day. So $1 to $27, I will take that all day, every day if I can. All right, so hopefully that was fairly easy to follow along with. But I did want to go through just quickly my numbers for the week as a total. So this week I sold 33 items total, which is pretty average for me on a week that I actually put in some effort. Some weeks I am on vacation, or I get back from vacation, or some weeks I just don't put as much effort into my selling as I should. But this was kind of an average week as far as how much I was listing and sharing my closet and everything. So I sold 33 items, which is pretty average for a week that I'm actually, putting some work in. For a total of about $1,600, a little more than that. So that averages out to $48 an item. And I'll say this is just a very, very average week for me. Generally speaking, I sell about $1,500 this is before fees and everything. So I sell about $1,500, and generally my average price per sale is about $50. So this was a very average week for me. $1,600, $48 an item. Most of that was on eBay, but Poshmark was about $450 in sales, and Mercari was about $110 in sales. So very, very average week for me. Some weeks are way better, some weeks are a little worse, but you know, pretty average, typical week for me as far as sales go. I tend to sell about 4 to 5 items a day, and this week that was about the case, 4 to 5 items a day. So hopefully this was somewhat helpful, and I'll try to do some more of these to keep myself accountable mostly, but also to share some of this with you guys, and hopefully I can figure out how to do all of the putting screenshots in and all of that. So, all right, I will see you hopefully soon. Bye-bye.